Please be warned, the video you're about to see, which was not produced by me, the parts produced by the female in this video, something banana, I think it is, who is she? Freelee, the banana girl, show pictures which could be disturbing to young viewers, or disturbing to viewers who do not wish to see animals in pain. Please be aware of this before watching this video. She did not make this same warning. I do. Thank you. Please enjoy the video. Hello everyone. I know you're probably expecting a gaming video, but today I'm in one of my ranting moods. Won't be quite as much swearing as normal, because frankly, I have a bone to pick with people who think that they can preach their ideologies to somebody and think that they must follow them. I will preach the ideology of Android phones to people. They are very good phones. I love them dearly. Will I force you to get one? No. I think you're misguided for not having one. Yes, but will I say that harm needs to come to you? No. But just watch this.
Hey Fruitbat, so I just woke up and I was thinking about something in bed, which I think about quite often, and that's where the people who continue to eat meat and dairy, even though they know the impact of their diet choices on the planet, on the animals, they've watched Earthlings, they know all the facts, they've been educated, but they choose to continue eating animal products. Whether they actually deserve to continue living.
Right. Whether people who eat animal products deserve to continue living. I eat animal products. I like a good steak, good piece of beef, chicken, pork, sausages, most things that come from a pig. Glorious animal. Lamb. Beef, lamb, chicken, things like, well, you get the idea. Now, this lady doesn't seem to get something quite important. We are not herbivores. The human body is not designed to be a herbivore. Genetics from billions of years has made us into carnivores. Now, if she looked up in the dictionary, she would know what a carnivore is. An animal that can only eat meat and vegetables. It can eat vegetables. Doesn't mean it can only eat vegetables. If we could only eat vegetables and survive on them, we would be classed as a herbivore. If we can only eat vegetables and survive on them, we would probably have never eaten meat. But there is something quite important about that. Herbivores, on the most part, are not predators. Now, what does that mean if you take it back billions of years? Well, cavemen, society in cavemen only really works if you're carnivores. Herbivores, it doesn't work. Well, it never happened. There is no real evidence that there was ever herbivore cavemen. There was no inclination other than we should be eating meat. And quite correctly, evolution has kept on going that way. There are herbivore animals, things like the koala. Well, no, I'm not sure I'm right on that, but there are animals that do only eat vegetables. But there is something about the human, Homo sapien, like myself and the rather misguided woman in the video. We are creatures who must eat animal products, whether it be cheese for good bone development or dairy for good bone development. For me, it's mostly cheese and butter. The only reason I feel that veganism has actually appeared in the last 40 years, I wouldn't say any more than 40 years, is because the hippie movement have decided to become vegan and wear sandals. Now, I know I'm going slightly off topic, but it gets worse. Just listen.
And that might be like so extreme sounding to you, so dramatic, but I've got to break it to you. We live in an extreme, dramatic world. There's a lot of fucked up shit going on. There's a lot of negative shit going on. And I know there's a lot of unicorn huggers out there. You unicorn huggers are like, oh, Freelee, you're so negative. You always focus on the negative. Oh, Freelee, be more positive. Freelee this, Freelee that. Oh my God, you create your own reality, Freelee. And you know what? I agree to a certain degree. You create your own reality. But the slaughterhouses still exist.
I quite agree. There is a lot of, I'll use her words, but I don't think they're quite correct, fucked up shit in the world. But frankly, what she thinks is worthy of attention compared to what everybody else thinks is very wide of the mark. Now, she has, later on in the video, she will say something that is very stupid. This, right now, what she is saying is not the biggest problem in society. It literally isn't. Now, I am not a green person, I am not a hippie, but I still think that there are bigger problems than people eating meat, people using resources from animals. One of our biggest problems is fossil fuel use. I think that is more of a problem. Now, hypothetically, if this madam got her way, what would that do? Well, it would allow the animal population to run rampant. Well, okay. Where's the problem with this? There is a big problem. We have currently two major problems in the world. One, energy. Two, fuel. They are intimately connected because fuel can be made using things like wheat and corn. They're called biofuels. They're not quite there yet, but they are getting there. We also have reusable energy sources like solar panels, but they're not there yet. But biofuel is our best option at the moment, I would say, if the oil dried up tomorrow. Most cars can be converted to biofuel, and even some cars perform better with biofuel. We can create biofuel power stations and things like that. Well, what's the problem? We're all vegans and we all use biofuel. Yes, but here's the big problem. Biofuel requires fields, resources, things that actually take away from the food stocks. You need the same amount of land, or maybe more, to create biofuel. We are not producing enough biofuel as it is, and if she, the little madam, decides to go, if the universe was to go, world was to go full vegan, we would need more plant products. That means more farming, more resources to be used for farming. That means more energy wastage. That means more energy usage. That means less room in the world for anything that isn't a farm. If you think about it, meat products like dairy, that's milk, butter, cheese, cream, come from one source. Eggs, chicken, one source. Pig, well, pork, bacon, sausages, ham, one source. Now, if you are trying to replace many different food groups that are considered to be meat, you would have to create a lot more vegetable food. Things like wheat, corn, maize, things like that. This would cause a major problem for society as a whole. Frankly, I would not say that the entire world being told to go vegan would put us in a good spot. Frankly, it would cause a hell of a lot of problems. Put it this way. You are on an island. Well, you and your best friend... now, let's put it this way. Her and her male companion are on an island. Me and a female companion are on that same island. That island is a standard biodome, a standard island. Nothing particularly special, not too much vegetation, not too much animal life, just a standard tropical island. Now, which one of us would survive more? Which one of us would survive better? And which one of us would be able to escape because we ate the right things? Now, you are going to say, definitely, and I could tell you right now, it would not be the vegans. They would have a lot of problems. In a tropical island, you might get coconuts. Now, coconuts are a reasonable food, but eating too many coconuts can cause dietary problems. On most tropical islands, that's pretty much it. You might get pineapples. Okay, that's fruit. That's fine. I have a pineapple as well. Pineapples are nice and tasty. But you are in the middle of the ocean. There is no wheat. There is no nuts. There are no grains. There is no vegetables. On a standard tropical island, there is only plants that are edible for animals. Things like berries that are poisonous to us, that are not poisonous to other things. There could be wild chickens, things like that. And frankly, the vegans would not survive. Now, scale that little island experiment up drastically to planet Earth. Do you see where I'm coming from? even though we do have the ability to create fruit and vegetables on a mass scale, that does not mean that society would not break down quickly. One more thing. Building materials. Not being able to use animal. It would get rid of one particular building material. Glue. How many times do you think this woman has used glue and not thought about it? Just saying.
The fur farms still fucking exist. They are still there regardless of you turning a blind eye to them and focusing on other things. They are still there. Animals are still having their fur ripped off their back. Animals are still having anal electrocution. They're still having their throats slit, their skulls crushed. That shit is still going on. And yes, it's negative, and we need to bring attention to it to make a positive change. That's what's positive about the focus of, you know, animal rights activists and people who actually give a shit about the planet and focus on these negative things to turn them into positives. So ignoring that stuff is not being positive. It's not being enlightened, it's just being ignorant. So it's important to make that distinction. And am I being too extreme? And yes, it does include family members of mine who actually continue eating meat and dairy, and I love them very much. But we are in this situation where drastic change needs to happen and people aren't taking it fucking serious enough. And if their position on the planet was threatened because of their dietary choices, they would change to vegan in a heartbeat.
Let me tell you something. In secondary school, I was shown a video. And I was asked, "Do you eat meat, Martin?" I said, "Yes, I like my meats." And then I was told, "Do you like to eat meat?" after being shown a video where basically they showed the slaughterhouses, they showed chicken battery farming, they showed animals being farmed. I still like meat. The rest of the class looked at me as if I was strange. I looked at them and said, "Yes, if you want to go completely vegetarian, fine by yourselves. It is my own right to be non-vegetarian or non-vegan. I have no compunction in changing your views. Do not change mine." And I actually said this out loud in the class. And I was rather annoyed. And I even said that to the teacher. And she looked at me and said, well, she just didn't particularly respond, which I was quite pleased with. I feel that you tell me that I should become vegan or vegetarian because I have seen propaganda. Fine. I do feel for animals. I have a cat myself, and animals in pain are not something I like to see. But some animals are bred for food purposefully, or bred for a purpose. If they are not bred for a purpose, they are wild, and they still are food for some creatures. They have a predator. Let's face it, foxes don't have many predators, but they are predators to things like squirrels, cats, smaller rodents. But I feel that this is something that she doesn't seem to understand. But what's even worse is what she says right at the end, right at the end of that segment you just saw. If the world was to have a catastrophic disaster, we'd change to veganism like that. What would be the disaster? I'm sorry? There is no known way of causing everyone to go vegan or vegetarian. There is nothing that would cause it. Literally, there is nothing. You kill off one species of cow. Fine. We eat beef, we eat pork, we eat lamb, we eat other animals, fish, things like that. We just won't eat beef anymore, or cow. If you are going to take out the entire part of the food chain, you are causing more problems, and society will break down and society will die, including you vegans, because you vegans will not be able to use your iPhones, because most of the iPhones are stuck together with glue. Glue. Do you know what that is? Glue. Yes, glue. You didn't know that, did you? No. Oh, but here's the funny thing. You vegans seem to worry about what are we going to be eating when all the animals are going to die off. Really? They are? I haven't been told. There's been nothing on the news. There's been no science. There are two things that basically the world is worried about at the moment. Global warming. Well, global warming doesn't hurt the animals very much. It might hurt the polar bears, which is a little sad. And the penguins. That's about it. And fuel shortages. Fossil fuel loss. Does that hurt the animals? I don't think I've ever seen my cat lighter use fossil fuels at all. He hasn't even stepped into the car. He hasn't driven the car. He doesn't use a computer. That's odd. That's very odd. Yeah. Because there is no known way for animals to completely die off. If animals are dying off, humans are dying off. There is no two ways about it. If you kill off the animal races, you kill the humans as well. Animals, humans. If humans die, animals are right. If animals die, humans are fucked. I don't care what fruits and nuts and berries you eat, because you are still, literally, and I'm not even talking figuratively, fucked. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be using this kind of language, but I also do not like the way she has no disclaimer in front of her video for those crude images that you saw. Those harsh images. Frankly, propaganda for vegans and vegetarians. Now, vegetarians, I have got to admit, are not as bad as vegans. I have heard of an event where a woman treats her dog to only vegetables. Here is a big problem, because dogs need things from meat that vegetables do not give. I feel very sorry for that dog. I really do. This woman is not only deluded, I feel she should be in a mental institution.
That's the truth of the matter, because it's so fucking easy to be vegan as well. And people kind of just treat it like, you know, it's just like a casual thing, like anyone can, you know, you can make your choice, I make mine, just mind your own business. You know, I'm sure you've had that sort of like comment as a vegan. Oh, I'm really like happy for you that you choose vegan. Good on you. That's fantastic. But no, I can never do it. It's like, you shouldn't have the choice. You should be forced to be vegan. You should absolutely be forced to be vegan. The situation the planet is in, we cannot wait for you to fucking get your shit together. We cannot wait. The animals cannot wait. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm really passionate about this. And do I want to kill people? No, I don't want to kill people. And yes, I was in that situation before where I didn't know. I didn't know about the meat and dairy industry. No, I didn't have a fucking clue. But I educated myself. So there's people who have educated themselves, but are like, nah, I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel like doing it. You know, I've heard, I knew a vegan once, and they were like, they were, you know, a little bit weak, and they couldn't do this and that, and, you know, like, just some, you know, I knew a vegan once who had a child, and the child had deficiencies or some shit, you know, like, just looking for excuses. No, you should not have that option. You just gotta step the fuck up, or you really don't deserve to live on this planet.
I currently live on the third rock from the sun that has its single moon. We have satellites around it. I think it is called Earth. Would I like intergalactic travel? Yes. Would I move out of Earth? Maybe. Would I emigrate her to somewhere where human society doesn't need to hear from her again? Yes, I would if I could. Because people who want to force their ideology on people should be put in their own place in society, where they can live among themselves and call themselves merry hell, and leave the rest of people who do not want to be forced ideologies, whether it be Christian, Muslim. Jews don't do it as much, but there might still be some that do, so Jewish, vegan, vegetarian, Apple users, Android users, PC gamers, things like that. People who want to, well, I'm a PC gamer, I enjoy it, but I will not force you if you like an Xbox or a PS3 or a PlayStation or whatever. I will not force my opinion on you. I will try and change your mind. If you still want to go for that, that is fine. I will not chop off your head or basically say you should not live in society. People who do that sort of thing, who think that because you are not a Muslim, because you are not vegan, you should not be allowed to live in society, you should be put on a small island, and frankly they should be nuked to a rather tender crisp. Because frankly, the people who do not mind what everyone else does are normal, sensible people. I class myself as a normal human. I have normal feelings about things. My mind can be changed. But some things my mind cannot be changed on. I will not be pressured into doing anything I do not want. I don't care if you have a gun to my head or a gun to my cat's head or my father's head. There is no way you will force me to do something I do not want to do. If someone had a gun to her head and said, you eat that beef burger and she will die, I'd ask to have a pickle with it. I'm sorry, but people like that deserve whatever they get in life. I hope this woman... I do not wish harm on this woman. She looks reasonably nice. Her brain is not all there. But I do feel that she must be taught that forcing your opinion on someone and not allowing them to have their own option or opinion is a bad thing. This is one thing I really think should be taught in schools and all religions. Basically, do not force your ideology on someone who does not believe your way of thinking. Is it a fact? If you can prove it as a fact that this, basically say, this is an Android phone. That is a fact. It has the Android system on it. If I held up a Apple phone, I would have to say as a fact that would be an Apple phone. But no, this is an Android phone. But if there was a religion that said all Android phones were actually Apple, everybody would call them nuts. So, let's face it. If you force your ideology on somebody and try to change their mind, that's fine. But forcing it by harm, abuse, or violence should be punished severely. Please write in the comments what you think. Goodbye.